All right, so I have placed three. Everybody seeing the screen share? The screen that's being shared? Nobody?
Yes.
Yes.
I'm seeing it.
All right, so I placed three examples on it. So for the benefit of the individual that was not here on Saturday, I'm going to work number one. All right, so I'm just going to work number one, which is the easiest one. All right, so we understand that factorization is basically a way of simplifying. Somebody saying something? Factorization is basically a way of simplifying an expression or an equation by finding numbers that you can go into another expression or number. So in the case of this question here, 7x plus 7y, we're going to try and find what number or algebraic letter is a factor of both of them. What can go into them? So 7 can go into 7x and 7 can go into 7y. So I will take out the 7. 7 is a factor. 7 is that number that can go into both 7x and 7y. So 7 goes outside and then the rest will go in the bracket. So I will say 7 into 7x goes, actually asking, so you're going to have to answer me. 7 into 7x
X.
did x, all right? And 7 into 7y leaves
Plus Y.
positive.
Y.
Good. So this is our answer. This is number one.
Plus Y.
All right. So I'm going to ask you to do numbers 2 and 3 for revision. I'll give you a couple minutes, about 3 or 4 minutes, and then we will come back to them before we move on. So take the 3-4 minutes and do those ones for me, please.
Miss, what's the name again? Teresa?
Yeah.
Number 2, what's that? 7b squared, and what's that? 8b or 3b?
Oh no, it's 3. Sorry for my writing.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm. All right, everyone. So I'm going to start now. I know you may not be finished, but we're going to start working through these one. Anybody work number 2? Anybody
Yes.
finish with number 2?
Yes.
What can we get?
3b bracket b minus 1.
B minus 1. All right, let us see if that is right. So we're looking for a number or a letter. I'm loosely saying it like that. That is not the technical way to call it. So I'm looking for something that can go into both 9b squared and also into 3b, right? So if I look at the numbers, I see that 3 can go into both 9 and 3 can go into both 3, right? So I can have 3, and I know b can go into b squared and b can also go into b. Everybody following me so far?
Yes.
Yeah, and everybody that. Everybody following me?
Mr. Just join.
Just join. All right. Everybody follow me? Everybody else? You have to learn to respond, otherwise may just run left for no. All right. So we agree that 3b is a factor. So 3b into 9b squared leaves you with what?
3b.
And talk up loud now. Can't hear you whisper.
3b.
3b. Everybody agrees with that?
Yes.
Yes. All right. So if you're not sure, you can just work it out and figure it out. It don't have to be rocket science. So 9b squared is 9b times b. Yes, that's what 9b squared is. And you're taking out 3b out of it. So 3 into 3 is 1, 3 into 9 is 3. And then b into b, b into b. So you're left with this 3 here and this b here. Everybody see that? Everybody see that?
Yes.
Good. So if ever you are in doubt, you can always work it out. If ever you're in doubt, you can always work it out. All right. You don't have to, but if you are in doubt, so 3b into 9b squared, you are left with 3b, and 3b into negative 3b, you're left with what? 3b into negative 3b?
Negative 1.
Negative 1. So that would be 3b
B minus 1.
into negative 3b.
Oh.
3 into 3, 1. B into b, 1. You're left with just negative 1. So this is your answer right here. 3b bracket 3b minus 1. So whoever answered and said that is correct. All right. Next one, number 3. Anybody worked out this one? Anybody worked out this one? All right, so I'm going to take that as a no. All right, so what do you think could be the factor? What could be the factor for this?
2.
2, all right, I'm going to agree because 2 can go into both the 6 and the 8. So we're going to work with 2. What else? Just 2?
2m.
2MNP.
2MNP, that's not the highest common factor. You can go higher than that. What can go into both m to the 5th and m to the 4th? What's the biggest that can go into m to the fifth and m to the fourth? What kind of silence is this? All right, I'm going to help you. So if you look at m to the fifth means m times m times m times m. Is that 5m? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And you're looking at what can go into both m to the fifth and m to the fourth. Right? So if you look at both of these, you see that you have one m can go into them, two, m to the 2, m to the 3, and m to the fourth. So the biggest thing that can go into both of them is m to the fourth. Everybody see that?
Yes.
Good. Tell me for n now.
N to the second power.
N to the second, good. What about p?
P.
N to the second and then p. So this would be the factor. Tell me what goes inside the bracket now. So you're putting 2 m to the fourth, n to the 2 and p. You're putting that into 6m5 n3p. So tell me what you're left with after you put the factor into that.
3.
M, good. Because m fourth going to m, leave you with m.
Yes.
N2 going to n3, n to the 2 goes into n to the 3, leaves you with what?
N.
Leaves you with n. And then p goes into p, leaves you with what?
P.
No, p going to p, can't leave you with p.
P going to
Right, so p going to p, leave you with?
1.
Leave you with 1. So we don't need nothing right there, so. All right. And then for the other one now, this factor going into 8, n to the 4, n to the 2, and p to the 2 gives you what?
You're going to have what? You're going to what? You close the back, plus.
You're going
Plus
to have
4.
4.
Plus 4, because 2 into 8 goes 4 times. Good.
Then P.
Then?
P. M.
Then P. That's what I heard?
Yes.
P, which is correct, because M4 into M4 is 1, and N2 into N2 is 1. So you wouldn't have to put back the ones. And then P into P squared, you're left with P. All right. How about the next one? Number 4. What is the factor? What is the highest common factor?
5.
5.
5y.
5y. Great. So 5y into 15xy gives you?
Minus 3.
Gives you?
3x.
3x. And 5y into minus 5y squared gives you?
Y.
What kind of y? Positive or negative?
Just
Negative.
Negative y. All right. So who is the person that was not here on Saturday?
Me, Carrie Ann Watson.
So you're okay? Are you okay?
Yes. I'm getting it.
Okay, you're okay. All right, fine. So we're going to move on to a different, well, factorization just the same, a different type of factorization. We're just going to be doing different types of questions now. We're working our way up to the quadratic expression, because you can't just jumping at it, otherwise you're going to jump in problems. So we're going to start off now with questions of this nature. So I'm just going to write out one and then we can go ahead and all right. So I have a question on your screen here. So this, if I'm asking you to factorize this, the challenge you may have is that you have 4 terms here. Yes. Usually the questions that you factorize so far doesn't have 4 terms. They usually have about 2. And here we're seeing you have x, you have 9, and you have k's, right? So you have a different variables that you have to work with. Whenever you get a quadratic, not a quadratic, sorry, whenever you get an expression to factorize or an equation and it has 4 terms in it, what you have to do, you have to group the terms and you factorize each group separately. So let me say that again. You have to group them and they factorize each group separately. So what that means is that I'm going to group these first 2 here, and then I group this second pair here. So I now end up with 2 groups, right? And then I'm going to factorize each of those groups separately. So let's go ahead and factorize 6x plus 9. What's the factor? What's the factor for that? The highest common factor?
3.
3, good. So 3 into 6x gives you
2. 2x.
2x. And 3 into 3 gives you
3 to 9. 3.
3 to 9, sorry, gives you 3.
3.
All right, good. And then you go ahead now and you factor the next pair. So 2k and 3k, what's the factor for that?
K. Oh. K.
What's the factor for that?
6.
K. And what would you have inside the bracket?
2. What's that, a negative?
Hold on, something is wrong. 2kx. Let's go here. So, yes. No, it's a positive.
2.
So what? 2k
2x.
into 2x gives you 2x. And k into 3k gives you?
3.
What kind of 3? You have to tell me sign.
3k. No, positive.
Positive.
A positive k. Positive 3.
Positive 3. All right, good. So what do you notice about the answer that we have so far? What kind of observation can you make about the answer that we have so far? We're not finished, but so far, what do you notice?
The both brackets here are corresponding. I don't know how to put it, but
what brackets? You have the same thing in each bracket. So if you notice, this is 2x plus 3, and in this bracket here, you have 2x plus 3. Everybody is seeing that?
Yeah. Yeah.
Good. So, and that is what you want whenever you are doing factorization, when you group them, when you group them together. If what you have inside the bracket is not the same, it's an indication that your answer is not correct. All right. So that's the first thing I want you to observe. So since the since the brackets are so far the same, we are not yet done. So what we're going to do, we're going to put down what we have in our brackets. And then we're going to create a second bracket that will house the numbers outside the bracket, which is this 3 here and this k here. So this is positive 3 and positive k. So in the second bracket, you're going to have 3 plus k. See that? So one bracket will have what you had in both brackets because they should be the same. And the second bracket should have what you have outside the brackets, the factors. Yes?
Okay.
And then what you have here, these two brackets are your answer.
Oh, so true, these two are alike. You put them in one bracket and then
Yes.
what outside the bracket now you put them in one itself.
Yes.
I'm guessing it.
And these two brackets, you should get back the original question. So if you should go ahead and multiply back out the brackets, you should get the same, should get the original question up here. So if you don't get that back, the answer is wrong. If what you have in the two brackets are not the same in the second step, if it's not the same, the answer is wrong. Or your answer is going to be wrong. Anybody not understanding so far? All right, so everybody is understanding. All right, so we're going to work a second one, number 2 over here. So again, we have 1, 2, 3, 4 terms. So we're going to group them. So I'm going to do that pair first, and then the second pair is this, right? Inclusive of the sign. This negative sign here is a part of NP, right? So we're going to go ahead and we're going to factorize. What is the factor for 5P and the 10Q?
5.
5, all right? So 5 into 5P
P.
goes P. 5 into positive 10Q.
2Q.
We need a
Positive 2.
sign.
Positive 2Q.
Positive 2Q, great. And then this one now, we need a factor for negative NP and negative 2NQ.
N.
N. All right, I can sit down the road say N, I'll give you a little problem, but I'm going to work it and make you see what is the problem with N, all right? So let's use N. Anybody have any other ideas before I use N?
NP.
NP can use. There's no P in the second
Oh,
one. There's no P over here. This is a Q. All right. So the person who said N, because you see, all right. So this is because me do quite a few of these. Me know say N gonna give you a problem, but me gonna do it so that you can see what the problem is. Right? It's not an issue. It's just you know, because we need both brackets to be the same. You're going to see why N maybe is not going to be the perfect one. So let's do N. So if you have N here, what's going to be the answer? N into negative NP. N into negative NP.
Negative P.
Somebody else whisper something? Why not afraid of it? To me say it's not the perfect something.
It would have been negative P.
Negative P, thank you. And N into negative 2NQ.
Oh.
Negative
Correspond
2Q.
at all in a miss.
What you say?
The bracket wouldn't correspond if it is supposed to be like
The
that.
bracket would not correspond. So how would you make the brackets to be the same?
So it would be N P plus 2Q.
So what factor would you need to use to make the brackets be the same? What would the factor need to be?
N.
It is n, right? It's just the sign is the problem. So
Yeah.
because if you
Negative
don't take
n.
out the, if you don't factor out the negative sign, you're going to end up with a negative inside the bracket. And as you can see, the first bracket has no negative. So you'd have to factor out the n to make sure that the second bracket is the same as the first bracket. Does that make sense to you?
Yes.
So we have to factor out the negative sign as well, because there's a negative here in the negative NP, and there's also a negative here in negative 2NQ. So you can factor out negative N. Everybody understanding?
Yes.
All right, so negative N into negative NP gives you
P.
P, good. Negative N into negative 2NQ.
A positive.
Positive 2q.
Q.
Positive 2Q.
Q.
Good, which is the same as this bracket here. Now, if you had used n, you would get negative p minus 2q, and you'd have to realize that the both brackets are not the same, so you'd have to go back and figure out what you needed to do, which should have been to factor out the n as the negative sign as well, all right? All right, so what would you have in your first bracket?
P plus 2Q. 5 minus N.
P plus 2Q. So the
And
both
then-
brackets are the same. So we put that in down here. And the next bracket would have the factors, which is 5,
Minus
which is this
N.
5 here, minus N. So that would be your answer. Any questions? Any questions?
Yes, we're gonna get these in the exam.
everything where you learned up on the syllabus, so you assume that everything comes on the exam. And you may not get it plain as this, right? But you make a question to work, and after you work out and reach a point, you get something like this, and you have to know that you're going to have to apply this principle, this concept that you learn at this stage, right? So everything you learn, you're not learning it because we have time to waste. You're learning it because it's on the syllabus, and from it on the syllabus, it's testable.
Okay.
So you have to know it. Yes? No? Look like you don't like the answer there, but I have a better answer for you. Is that is the truth. All right, so I'm going to give you one that you can attempt on your own, so I can see where you are. And I'm hearing people talking, I'm going to start calling some others to share. To share with us. All right, so let me give you one more.
Excuse me, Mrs. Barnes.
Yes, I hear you.
There are persons who want to come in.
Yep, so Mr. Barnes is on him job. All right, sorry about that. So let me give you one for you to attempt on your own. All right, so you can go ahead and attempt that one for me. I'm giving you 2 minutes. Everybody got this so far?
Yes, miss.
All right, next line.
Yes, miss.
M minus 2 bracket.
M
minus N bracket.
M minus N. Excellent. Anyone did not get that? Anybody did not get that? All right. So let's move on. I'll give you, how many people are on? 6 persons, I'll give you 6. And I'm going to give each person one that they need to respond to me about. Because I'm only hearing 3 females. three female voices with me here, so let me see. So you can start working out. I'm going to give you a few. So you can start to working them. All right, so those are the five. I'm going to leave you guys. I'm going to leave you guys to do. I'll give you a few minutes, and then we'll come back and work them together. Give you about 8 minutes. All right, no response. I guess everybody is good. We're going to start working through these. It's already 8 o'clock. All right, so number one. What did you get for number one?
Factor is y.
For the first pair, if the factor is y. Yeah, what goes in the bracket?
X minus 5.
X minus 5. That's x, y, and 5y. Okay, great. What's the next factor?
-2.
-2.
-2.
X minus
X minus 5.
X minus 5. Anybody didn't get that or don't understand how we got that? So I can explain it. All right.
I don't understand.
You don't understand. Tell me where or what you're not getting quite. Okay, I'm go silent for me now. Where or what you're not getting? Is it the entire thing? Is it you don't understand a certain, or them get a certain number? What you don't understand? Who was that said they don't understand? Hello? Who don't understand? Is it Kerry and Watson? Alison Clark, I see your mic's open. Who was it?
No, it wasn't me. Oh, she's texting her. Her internet is acting up. The one who, Nikisha Morris.
Okay, so she's not on now?
No, she's not hearing.
Oh, she's not hearing.
No.
Everybody else is hearing me, by the way?
Yes, miss.
Yes, miss.
Yes, miss.
But sometimes you might chip stuff like sometimes you hear a chip in it.
Oh, all right. Let me see if I can speak up a little bit more. All right, so let me just work through that one, even though she's not here, or probably I should work it when she comes back. Anybody else don't understand and need me to work it? Or I can just work it when she gets back. All right, I'll wait until she gets back and work it again. For number 2, what's the answer that you got?
Brackets x plus 4.
So what's the factor?
X
Factors
bracket
x.
X bracket
X
plus 4, okay. And the factor for the second pair?
Negative x.
1.
Negative 1.
1.
Yes.
Negative 1.
Bracket X plus 4.
X plus 4. So that's negative X, negative 4. Okay, great. But you know, and I final answer the more want to know.
Oh, the final. Okay.
Hold on. It's okay. It's okay.
X plus 4.
It's okay. Let me just write it on the side here. So you'd have for this one y minus 2, and this is x minus 5, and then for this one you'd have x minus 1 and x plus 4. All right. So we work. All right. Number 3.
Miss, you have to put them in that same manner. I didn't put them like that, but I put like the x minus 5 and the xy.
I don't understand you.
Like how you put the y minus 2 first. I put the x minus 5 first.
Don't matter.
Okay.
It doesn't matter. Because 2 times 3 give you what? Multiply 2 by 3, what you get?
2 by 3, you get 6.
If you multiply 3 by 2?
6.
Name 6. It doesn't matter which one comes first, as long as they are okay.
Okay.
All right. So for the third one, what do we have? Anybody get the answer for the third one?
X minus 4, X plus 6.
X 6.
But me not know when. Tell me what the factor. Me only x minus 4.
X
bracket X minus 4.
X minus 4. That's x squared minus 4x. All right. And the next factor?
A positive 6.
6. And what's inside the bracket?
X minus 4.
That's 6x minus 24. All right. And so you'd have x minus 4 in one bracket. And the next bracket you'd have x plus 6. Yes? So if you put your x plus 6 first, it don't matter.
Okay.
Right? All right, the next one. Number 4.
X plus 3y.
Who that all tell me when I bracket alone? Tell me the factor.
X bracket X plus 3y.
X plus 3y.
Yes. Negative 3.
Hold on. X bracket X plus 3y.
Yes. I don't know.
What? Go on and see where. What else?
Negative 3.
Negative 3. What's in this bracket? What do you have in this bracket?
gonna try that. Miss Anderson.
You see a mistake?
Yeah.
All right. So rework it for me, please.
Okay.
Everybody rework it. Anybody else worked it and can tell me what you got?
Negative. Yeah.
Anybody else worked it? Can you tell me what you got, please?
I guess you've already seen that. Huh? Yes, I have.
Oh, negative x. Negative
Huh?
x. No.
I'm not hearing you clearly.
Michael figured out how to get his mother to lead him to the storage unit where the flight records were kept. Yeah, hey, Mom, Michael, listen, don't forget. I talked to the IRS and they want to come by your apartment today to see if you charge any big ticket stuff to the customers or...
All right, let's work it out. So we are going to be factoring. So as you see here, where am I? As you see here, you have x squared here, and you have a 3y here. So if you attempt to factor out this pair as it is, there is no common factor, right? Everybody's listening to me? There's no common factor. So what you have to do, you have to rearrange when you get it like this and you can't, as you get the question, the pairs, there is one pair or both pairs that you can't factor as is. You have to rearrange the expression and then factor. So in this case, there is no factor that can go into x squared and 3y, right? There is no number and there is no letter that can go into both x squared and 3y. So I have to switch it up, switch up the equation, rearrange it such that I can group those that can be factored together. In this case, I can group the 3y, put the 3y beside the xy, because I know that the y's can factor out together. Everybody seeing that?
Yes.
And then I can group the 3x along with the x squared, because I know that that can factor together. So whenever you rearrange your formula though, your expression, always be mindful to keep and carry the sign with it. If you lose the sign, it's going to be a problem. So I'm going to, the ones that are circling gray, I'm going to put those first. So I'm going to rearrange it, put x squared, and then put the 3x. This is a minus 3x. So I have minus 3x here. And then I'm going to rearrange, continue the rearranging, the red ones, positive 3y, and then negative xy. Everybody seeing what I did?
Yes.
So I've rearranged it because as it was here, there was no factor that could go into x squared and 3y, so it's rearranged. Now that I have it rearranged, it's the same equation. All I've done is to shuffle up the x, all I've done is shuffle it up so that I can group the ones that can be factored together. Now that they're in this state, I can go ahead and I can factor this first pair and this first pair and this second pair. Everybody seeing that?
Yes.
So go ahead and do this and factor this for me now, because it's now in a form that you can factor it.
I thought that was Spice's part.
3 minus x and y plus x.
Fired real for them and probably failed to highlight the sale, so good for her. And will you excuse me, please? Well, listen, that's great. My own problems. The flight records, they burned up. That's fine. That's over with. But I think Dad, he's behind. I think Dad is trying to run the business.
Well, isn't that ironic? I'm making a fortune at my new job, and you don't even have the job, so I did it.
But you don't have a job. You've got a job offer, right? So I'm gonna go see Dad because this is my business to run.
All right, you should be finished by now. So looking at this first pair,
So I've been looking
Looking at this first pair here, what is the factor for this one?
X.
X. And
Bracket
what goes
X.
in the bracket?
X minus 3.
X minus 3. And then the factor for the second one?
Y plus 1.
Y. Y. And then?
But I got 3 minus X is the same as X minus 3.
You got 3 minus X.
Yes.
Let me see. 3 minus X. X minus 3. Not the same thing. You're close though, but you do something. You need to factor out something else. So what you need to do, because X minus 3 is not the same thing, because if you look at where the negative sign is, in the first one, the negative sign is in front of the X, yes? But in the second one, so in the first one, the 3 is positive and the X is negative. In the second one, the X is positive and the 3 is negative. So it means that you have a sign issue. It's not that you factor it wrong, you just have a sign issue. So instead of factoring out Y, you correct for the sign issue by factoring out negative Y.
Okay.
So that way you would have a negative 3 here and positive X.
This looks weird.
Yeah, it's weird.
Yes.
It's the same thing. As long as the signs are correct, it's the same thing. If you want to fix it, you'd have to put the negative X before the positive 3Y, but it doesn't matter as long as the signs are in the correct place. You have to train your brain like that, because you're not going to know, you may not always know from before that this is how it's going to work out. So you have to train your brain to say X minus 3 is the same as minus 3 plus X.
Okay.
Right? So you have in the first bracket, you're going to have X minus Y, and then in another bracket, you have X minus 3, or minus 3 plus X, whichever, it is the same thing. Anybody have any questions so far? You're not understanding something? You want me to go over something before we move on? All right, let's do the last one then. How did you attempt or approach this last one?
I group the negative 2 with the 2B.
All right.
Negative 2B.
All right, so you're going to have to rearrange it again, because as you can see here, there's no common factor between A, B, and negative 2. So you have to go ahead and rearrange it. So your classmate is saying she grouped negative 2. So let me just circle it. She grouped negative 2 with negative 2B. And then AB gets grouped with positive A. Is that what you did?
Yes, miss.
Great. So let's rearrange it now. So A, B minus, what AB go with? Plus A, and then minus 2 minus 2B. So you have that. So then you can go ahead and factor. What's the factor for A, B, and A?
A.
A, and then you'll have in the bracket
A.
B.
No,
B.
yes.
Huh?
B.
B.
Can't be B alone. B and something else.
1 plus B.
B plus
Or
1.
B
B
Right.
plus
Good.
1.
Or 1 plus B, same thing. What do you factor out for this one now?
Negative 2.
Negative 2. So negative 2 into negative 2 gives you
1.
1.
Positive 1.
Good. And negative 2 into negative 2b gives you
B.
b. What
Okay.
kind of b? Plus b, right?
Positive.
So similar to the last one, b plus 1 is the same as 1 plus b because they're carrying their same sign, right? Everybody see that? Why b plus 1 is the same as 1 plus b?
Yes, right.
The signs are the same. So then you have a minus 2 in one bracket and then 1 plus b in another one. Or you could put b plus 1. Whichever way you write it, it's still correct. Any questions before we move on?
This kind of backward.
Backward, why backward?
They're kind of twisted. I don't, number 4, number 5, kind of twisted, like a dyslexia something.
Kind of twisted. Well,
Yes.
if you notice, the aim of factorization is to simplify it a little, right? And you started out with 4 individual terms, and you end up with 2 brackets. So you have simplified it by finding the factors for it. So, I don't know if Mother call it twisted, but it certainly makes sense. All right.
Okay.
You know, so I'm so convinced.
Yeah, I'm not.
You're not? All right. As we go along, I hope I can convince you I can convince you further. All right.
Okay.
So everybody take off everything that's on this. We're going to move on in dramatic fashion. So we're going to move on to quadratics now. So keep this in the back of your mind as we move on to quadratics, and hopefully, you know, you can be more convinced of why this is an important thing to learn.
Hey, Ben. Ben, look at water now, please.
Uh-oh.
All right. So so I'm introducing you now to what we call a quadratic trinomial, right? Now, quadratic trinomial, somebody want to mute the mic? So a quadratic trinomial normally takes this form that we see right here. Ax squared plus bx plus c. Now, once it takes this form, it is called a quadratic trinomial. Trinomial, for one, because it has 3 terms in it. So you have one term here, which is ax squared. You have another term, which is a bx, and you have another term, which is c, right? So that's 3 terms in the expression. Everybody following me so far?
Yes, miss.
Good. Now, the next thing that you need to know with a quadratic trinomial is that a, b, and c are numbers, right? I know that is not technical, but they are numbers. So A, B, C is going to be a number. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Wait, this
Everybody get me? So A, B,
Not hearing as somebody else might need to turn.
can whoever that is, can you mute your mic for me, please? So A, B, and C are numbers. and the x squared and the x, of course, x squared and x, or whatever algebraic, whatever letter that is going to be. So let's take, for example, if we have a quadratic trinomial that looks like this: x squared, trying to find one that is actually solvable, x squared plus 6x plus 8. So this is a trinomial. It's a quadratic because you have this squared here. It's a trinomial because you have the 1, 2, 3 parts of it. And we can identify A, B, and C. What is A in this equation? A is over
X
here.
squared.
What is A? No, A is the number. What is A?
The 2.
No,
The square.
A is the number in front of it right here, so.
1.
That is plus 1. And B is the number in front of this X. So what is B?
6.
6. And what is C?
8. 8.
C is 8, right? I hope I didn't lose anybody. I hope you're understanding. I just want you to appreciate what the quadratic trinomial is. So when you see it, you need to know that it's a quadratic trinomial because it is factorized differently, right? So if I give you one that goes x squared plus 9x plus 8. What is A in this one?
1,
A is positive 1. What is B?
9,
Positive 9. And what is C?
positive 8.
Positive 8. And I want you to train yourself to call those numbers with their sign. Nobody don't just come by themselves and jump out of the sky. The sign is very important. All right. So let's go on to the next important point now. If I ask you to factor, out either of these, how would you go about it? Because you've been doing factorization. So how would you go about factoring either of these two quadratic trinomials?
All right, x bracket x plus 2 with the 3x plus 4.
I'm
Anybody?
not sure. What is it? The one that you would put like 7 minus 1 to give you the 6, and if you add them, you get the 8.
Say it again. Let me hear you.
I'm saying that I'm not sure, but I'm wondering if it's the one that you would put 7 minus 1 in the middle when you move the 6 to give you the 6, and if you add 7 plus 1, it will give you the 8.
If you add 7 plus, okay, all right, I hear that. I'm going to register that. Anybody else have any other ideas as to how we can go about solving it?
No.
No, that no come quickie. All right, so whomever it was that that mentioned that little thing a while ago, that is the little thing that we're going to use to solve it. So I'm going to just put one of them up here and take away the rest so that we can have the space. So we're going to be using x squared plus 6x plus 8, right? So we're going to work with that one. Just let me clear here. All right. So when you're solving a quadratic trinomial, the challenge that you have is that there is no factor that can go into all 3 of these at once, and you can't solve them by grouping because you only have 3 terms in the expression. So what you have to do, or how you approach it, is that you split this middle term here. So whatever this middle term is, in this case, it's positive 6x, you split it into 2 terms so that you can have 4 terms in your equation, and then you can solve it by grouping, all right? So you have to split this, whatever this middle one is, this bx, you have to split that one. Now there is a rule governing how you do the split, and that is what we're going to be focusing on right now. So in order to get the 2 numbers that you're using to split this 6x here, you have to find 2 numbers that when you multiply them, 2 numbers when you multiply them, you get the product of AC. Remember, we looked at what A is and what C is before. And when you add those same 2 numbers, you're supposed to get B, right? So remember, B is a number in the middle here, and A is a number at the front, C is the number at the end right here. So in this instance, we are trying to find 2 numbers that when we multiply them, we can get AC. We have to find a value for AC. So A is 1 and C is 8. So AC in this case would be 8. Everybody following me?
Yes. Yes.
And B in this case would be 6, positive 6. All right? So we're going to have to find 2 numbers now that when you multiply them, you get 8. And when you add them together, you get 6. All right? So how do you go about it?
2 and 4.
2 and 4.
4 and 4?
2 and 4.
2 and 4. So
When the
2 times 4 is 8.
Yes.
And the 2 plus 4 is 6. So we can put 2 and 4 here, 2 and 4 here. Everybody seeing that? Everybody seeing that?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
You guys have to respond so I can know that whether I need to go back over it or not, you know. All right. So then we found our 2 numbers. So remember the whole point of finding these 2 numbers is that we're going to use it to split this middle term here. So we then go ahead and we rewrite our initial equation, but instead of putting the plus 6x, we're going to use the 2 and the 4 instead. So we rewrite our equation and say x squared, but we're using 2 now, so it's 2x plus 4x plus everybody see that? So that middle number, that middle term, which is plus 6, split into the 2 and the 4. So 2x and 4x, right?
Yes.
Everybody clear so far? Everybody clear so far?
Yes.
All right. So now you have 4 terms, which looks pretty much like what we were doing before, which is a solving by grouping. So I have 2 terms here, and I have another 2 terms here. So I can then go ahead and solve by grouping in pairs. So what factor is there between x squared and 2x?
X.
X. So x into x squared is x, and x into 2x is positive 2. Then the next pair, what's the factor?
4.
Positive 4, good. And then 4 into 4x,
X.
x, and 4 into positive 8,
Positive 2.
positive 2. And then we do like we usually do, what we were doing before, which is to put back that, which is what is in the brackets of 4, and then x plus 4 here. So that is your answer to the question.
Okay.
Any questions?
Okay, not much different though, but from your workout, what's in the middle there, you fall back right in place.
Right, which was
everything.
why the factorizing by grouping was so important. Because if you don't, if you, you have to be able to do the factorization by grouping to be able to solve this one here. So once you break up the middle term, which is the bx term, into the two numbers, then it's just factorization by grouping. Yes?
Okay. Why math has to be so complicated?
But use is a complicated, me no know. Probably because you used to complicate it. We tend to, me no know.
But I mean, we did this the first time and it was okay. Why do I have to show a different way of working, a more complex way? Oh my goodness, I tell you, boy.
All right, so we're going to attempt the next question now, which is just shift this over a bit so I can get some space. So we're going to be doing x squared plus 9x plus 8, right? So I like to put my little thing down here. I need two numbers that when I multiply them, I get AC, which is 8 times 1. So when I multiply them, no, yes, I need to get 8. And then when I add them, I need to get 9, right? What are those two numbers? Anybody can come up with them for me? Anybody is there? Or I'm here by myself now?
Miss, it doesn't look right, because which two number you can multiply forget is 8 ones 8. Oh, 8 and 1, sorry.
8 and 1.
Yes,
All right, so we're working with 8 and 1. 8
yes.
times 1 is 8. Positive 8 times 1 is positive 8. And 8 plus 1 is
Is 9.
9.
Yeah.
Yes? So we can go ahead now and split that middle term. So we no longer going to put back that. We're going to use the 8 and the 1 instead. So we're at plus 8x plus x. I don't have to put back 1x. I can just put x. Everybody see why?
Yes.
Plus 8. So now I have 4 terms and I can factorize by grouping the first two and the second two. So let's go. What's the factor for x squared plus 8x?
X bracket X
X into
plus
8x
8 plus 8.
plus positive 8. All right. What's the factor for x and 8?
X plus 8.
1.
1. So x,
Oh,
1 into x,
I forgot the one.
1 into x,
X.
X.
1 into, 1 into 8. Come on.
Plus
8.
8.
8. All right. And then plus 8 in one bracket. And then x plus 1 in another bracket. Easy enough, yes?
Yes.
Yes, very easy. So I'll give you one to do on your own before I increase the difficulty. X squared plus 5x plus 6. I'll give you 2 minutes to do that on your own. And then we reconvene. What numbers did we get for when we split the 5? Hello?
5 times 1.
Right, 5 and 1. So 5 times 1 is 6. And 5 times 5 plus 1.
You do it. You do it. You put the 5 times 1, you put 6 there. I should have 5.
Yeah, but you do it wrong yourself. It can't work because you need two numbers. When you multiply them, you get AC, which is 1 times 6, which is 6. And then when you add those same two numbers, you need to get 5. So 5 times 1 can't work.
Is
Something.
that they change the signs or those numbers? Some look off.
Well, 5 times 1 can't get 6, none at all, you know. So
Yes,
No.
change it around.
no,
5 plus
5
1.
times 1 can't be 6. Nor can
Yes.
1 times 5 can be 6. So what we're gonna put there?
3, 2, 3.
3 times 2.
Yes.
3 times
Oh,
2 can
3
give you,
and 2.
and
Yeah.
3 plus 2 can give you 5. All right, so we'll work with that. X plus 3x plus, so I have the wrong thing, but just ignore that. Plus 2x plus 6. Everybody seeing that? Good so far? And then factor. So what is the factor for this one here?
X bracket X plus 3.
Good. And the next one, what's the factor?
Plus 2.
Positive 2. So and this one is positive x.
X plus
Positive
3.
2x plus
Plus
3. So then we have one for x plus 3 and another for x plus 2. All right. So we're going to do a couple more before we wrap up tonight, just so that I can be comfortable that you understand completely. And sir will send some questions that you can practice until you can. As it relates to finding these two numbers, right? When you start to try to find, you can start with the ones that you multiply. You can always find a factor. So for example, if you are working on two numbers that you can multiply them to get 6, you just start. Put down the numbers that you can multiply to get 6. 6 times 1, 2 times 3. Anything else you can multiply to get 6? No. It has to be one of these pairs, right? So if you try both of them and they don't work, then you're going to have to now work on changing the signs. Mute your mic, mommy. Mute your mic, thank you. All right, so you're gonna have to just, so that's how you do it. So you just write out the factors first, and then you can play around with the signs, right? Because it's not all the time just by looking at it you're going to be able to get the factors offhand. So you need a system. If you can't look and get it, you need to literally write them down and then figure out what can fit into the slots. Change the signs if you must, but you will get the answer, right? So I'm going to give you 2 or 3 more so that I can convince myself, and then we'll wrap up after that. All right? So I'll do 2 more. All right, so let's do x squared minus 20. And then we'll do 12x squared minus 20 plus 3. So I'll give you 10 minutes to do that, and then we will come together, work it, and then we will wrap up, all right? for negative 4. So negative 4 plus 5 would give you positive 1. So it could have been negative 4. What else could you try?
Oh, negative 5 and 4.
Negative 5 and 4. So negative 5 times 4 would give you negative 20 because a negative times a positive is a negative. But when you add them, you would get negative 1. Everybody seen that? I hope you are. They're not responding.
But it's a positive X here.
Yes, it's a positive X. But all right, so let's put them here for now. So we'll be using 4. We're using 4 and negative 5. So 4 times negative 5 will give you negative 20. But when you add 4 and no, it's not going to work with you because this is going to give you negative 1. So it's the
Oh,
other way around.
I thought me I tell you say
Other way around.
negative 4.
I was working with a negative 1. So let me just change that. My apologies. I don't know. I've seen bubbles in the night. All right, so it's negative 4. Thank you. So negative 4 times 5 is negative 20. Negative 4 plus 5 gives you a positive 1. All right, so we can go ahead and work out. Negative 4x plus 5x minus 20. So then we go ahead, those two are factored together, and then those two. So what's the factor for this, for the first pair?
X bracket X plus 4.
X plus 4, x into minus 4x. Can be plus 4.
Oh, sorry. I did have it as positive.
It's
Negative
a,
4.
it's a minus 4. And then what's the factor for this one here? For the second pair? What's the factor for 5x and negative 20?
1.
Negative 5.
Can be 1.
Oh, plus 5.
No, plus.
Plus 12, positive 5 and positive 5x and negative 20. What's the factor?
Negative 4.
4 can't go into 5 without leaving a remainder. So it can't be 4.
Oh, shit. All right.
What can go into 5x and negative 20?
X.
No, no, me got B to the door. X can't go into 20 because there's no X over here. So
But I said 5 before.
no, you never said 5, you said 4. I mean, say
No,
4
man.
can't.
I said 5.
Never hear you 5. Sorry. 5. Thank you. Never, you have to talk up loud like how you talk a while ago so we can't hear you. All right. So what goes inside the bracket?
X minus 4.
X minus 4. So this is a positive 5. So
Yeah.
the first bracket will have x minus 4,
X
and the
plus
second bracket would be x plus 5. All right. The last one for tonight. So we need two numbers that when we multiply them, we get 3 times 12. 3 12s is what?
36.
36. And then when we add them, we get negative 20. This is negative 20x. And all right. So what numbers did you use? Hmm? Let's look and see what numbers we can multiply to get 36. What numbers give it 36?
4, 9.
4 times 9. All right. What else?
3 times 12.
3 times 12, what else?
36 times 1.
36 times 1, what else? So we use 1, 3, 4. We can use, can 2 go into 36?
Yes, 18 and 2.
18 and 2. All right, that seems about it. All right, so all of these.
Wait, give me a minute. You have 12x squared minus 20x plus 3.
Mm-hmm.
So, oh, you get the 36 there.
36 comes from, because remember the number that you multiply, when the two numbers you find, they need to be equal to A times C. So the 36 is A times C, which is 36. This is A, which is 12.
That's
This is C, which is
times
usually, because the ones we worked before didn't have any, A was 1, you just work out with this. But in this case, A is 12. So remember we said, and whatever number you multiply, it must be A times C, which is A times C. That's all get the 36.
Okay.
All right. So now, which pair can we use to get our answer here? Which pair you think is more suitable?
negative 18 and 2.
Negative 18 and 2.
No.
Negative 18 and 2 would give you negative 36. Because remember,
Eight.
negative times positive gives you a negative. So is the whatever numbers you're going to use, both of them will have to be negative, because negative times negative gives you a positive. So we can work with 18 times 2, but we're going to figure out the appropriate signs now. What's the
Negative 2, negative 18.
negative 2 and negative
Negative.
18. So negative times negative is positive. So this is positive 36. And when you add negative 2 and
You
add
get
negative
-20.
negative 20. Everybody seeing that?
Yes.
So we can just go ahead now. 12x squared minus 2x minus 18x plus 3. And then we factor out by pairs,
Wow.
this pair first, and then this pair next.
You want to go sleep? Wait, tablet.
All right. So what's the factor for this one? First pair.
Oh, go on. All right.
What's the
Wipe
factor
off
for
your
this
hand.
first pair? What can go into 12x pair and minus 2x? Hmm? Come, it's the last one.
Okay. 6x. Wait. So it's 6x. No, sorry.
It would be, let me see.
Sorry about that, I had to step away. What do we say is the answer now? What can go into 12x and 2 minus 2x? Come. This shouldn't be so hard.
2.
2x, because there's an x squared here and there's an x
Yes,
here.
2x.
So you would get
Negative
6x
2x.
minus 1. Because 2x into negative 2x is 1, right? For this one, what are we using?
3.
Is it a negative 3 or a positive 3 we're using? Because we need to make sure we have the same thing in both
Negative.
both brackets.
Negative 3.
Negative 3. So negative 3 into negative 3x gives you
6.
6x, and 3x into negative 3 into positive 3 gives you a
1.
minus 1.
Minus 1.
So this bracket would be 6x minus 1. And the next bracket is 2x minus 3. So that is your answer. So we're going to stop here. The aim was to end at 9, but it's 9:10, which is okay because we started a little late. So I hope that the quadratic expressions were you are comfortable with solving them. Sir will send you some questions to work in the group, and yeah, you guys will meet on Saturday again. All right.
Yes, the more
Okay.
questions we get to practice, the more better for me.
Yeah, absolutely. Because this is math, and with more practice does come perfection. All right.
Mm.
So you will see Sir on Friday. No, Saturday morning. All right. Have a good rest of your evening.
Okay,
Okay,
thanks. Thank
bye.
you.